to the Nova Fitness Unfiltered podcast. And today we've got a very special guest, one of our clients, Claire Maclaren, who is going to tell us a bit about her journey and how she joined Team Nova.
So I actually had no idea. I don't know anybody that's had a coach before or done like online coaching. Well, I've heard of people, but I don't know anybody close to me, if you know what I mean. So I literally had no idea what it entailed. And I genuinely thought that it would be, you get sent a gym program with exercises. That's what I thought it was going to be. But it was, I think it came at a good time when he asked, because it was not long before my birthday and all that. And I thought, do you know, I'll do it and like treat myself. And he was doing it, so I thought we'll do it together because we were already going to the gym together. So that's obviously how I signed up, but I had no idea how intense it was going to be. But I don't mean intense in a bad way, because obviously it's intense support, which is what actually makes you succeed.
Oh yeah,
because it wasn't just there's a gym program, go away and do it.
Like a generic
all
thing.
The other stuff that comes with it. Yeah.
So I suppose you're talking about there, right? You're saying about treating yourself because it was your birthday. So explain a wee bit of your background, but like what's kind of home life and things like that like?
Mental. So I just turned 40 in February there. I've got 4 children on my own. Have had a bit of a rough time with men, probably. I was in a horrible marriage. And then my youngest daughter's dad, she's got a different dad, fell pregnant early into that relationship. And then just after she was born, he got a terminal diagnosis. And he passed away when she was just 2, 3. So it's very busy, and I work full time. Also got lots of pets. Got 2 ponies and 2 dogs. I like to put a lot of stress on myself. But I think also when I look at that, I think I do that because I don't like to have any time to sit and think about what I actually do on a daily basis. I think I deliberately keep myself busy because of that. And I always thought that what I was doing, my things, my kids, that's my everything, and putting everything into my children because they're my priority. But actually I was really putting myself on the back burner, and I started to then get health problems, the chronic migraine. So for 18 months, every single day, I had a migraine. They call it suicide headaches. It was horrific. And I then started to see a neurologist, got put on medication, and that gave me a big wake-up call because I thought the stress is really taking its toll on my body health-wise now. So that was a reality check for me.
See, when you had said to me, obviously, that you'd had the migraines, and then when I got that message to say that like I don't have any more migraines, and I was like, is this just a kind of not a fluke, but like if this can continue, this is a major thing. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm sitting there and I'm going like that. You've got severe migraines, you've been on medication, you've had them for a couple of years anyway at least, and then all of a sudden you've joined the programme, you've started, you know, your fitness journey, eating a lot healthier, hydrating yourself properly, giving yourself this newfound lease of life sort of thing, because obviously it's a bit later in life and now you've started. And then for me as a coach, just recently, do you know what I mean, being in the game, to then helping somebody in a health aspect, you're no longer on medication for the migraines. For me, that blew me away. You don't understand the effect of you saying that to me.
Yep.
Was like, it was life-changing for me, mentally.
And I thought the same as you. I was like, is this going to... And even the neurologist was like, she actually said to me, she was like, you are a total success story. And I thought that I would be on that medication for life, and I was happy to be on the medication for life because it stopped the migraines. But I thought, I will, and I'm normally I was a headachy person anyway, not the extreme migraines then at that point, and they were so debilitating. It was hemiplegic migraines. I don't know if you've ever heard them, but it's like you literally get paralysis all down one side. Like it was a shift. I was at my work and I had to get put in a bed. Like
so
I
was it just a normal
walk
migraine?
And all that. No, horrendous. And like 3 days in my bed, and obviously I've got 4 kids in my own, and I'm at like it was really, really bad. And I did worry a wee bit as well that is this just a wee kind of like
placebo
or
or something.
But
like...
I don't even get a hormonal headache now. Nothing. And I've had, as you know, periods of a lot of stress since joining, and I've not had not one headache.
That's
and that's over Well,
It'll be a year this January.
that'll be a year in January. So I mean, that's not a.
It's not a
that's
it's not
not
just
a
a fluke.
coincidence.
It's not a coincidence. It's actually genuinely
It's
helped you in a health aspect.
Yep.
We obviously the
And
migraines.
also, I was thinking this morning about there's loads of diabetes in my family, and it's this age that they hit 40 and then you're diabetic. Like, it's really, really prevalent in my family, and I was thinking about that today, and I was like, hopefully that's going to be something that.
Well, we do know already
me.
that diabetes can be controlled with obviously your diet. Obviously, type 2, if you get diagnosed with type 1, it's a totally different story.
Yep.
But type 2 is obviously reversible.
Factors.
Aye, it comes out your
Lot of
lifestyle, which
lifestyle
now
factors.
your lifestyle is, you can say, probably changed quite dramatically. And you're flying, obviously. I know you're still having your wee self-doubts and stuff when you send me messages and your wee panic mode and stuff, but
I think that's just being part of human. But
it's just,
I don't think that ever goes, does
no,
it?
it will only go. It will only go. And speaking for experience, for me doing this for years in terms of training and stuff, like, I still get it. Do you know what I mean? I'm no different from anybody else. Holly still gets it. Do you know what I mean? So
I don't sit outside and cry outside the gym all the time now. I did it one blip, I think that was in August, and I videoed it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched it.
No, I never showed her.
I sat outside in the car and I cried. I was like, I can't go in here.
And you
go
sent
in.
me
But
after
I went
making
in, I was making myself go in because I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. But yeah, I used to do that a lot.
So that's obviously coming from an aspect of being obviously anxiety, right? Gym anxiety and stuff like that, but everything else that's happened in your life. And obviously, confidence wise, talk a wee bit more about, like, obviously you're low in confidence for previous obviously relationships and stuff like that. So how has obviously coming into the program and then you like, because there's just a new Claire. Do you know what I mean? It's a totally new Claire. How do you feel about that?
I still can't believe it. When I joined, I wasn't below zero confidence wise, but I have been there when somebody puts you to that point that you literally are worthless. And that takes a long time to try and build back up. And I thought, wasn't something that I put a lot of thought into, but I thought that I was where that I was going to be, because I was like, you know, that's forever changed me, and that's just something that's happened because of life. But no, that now I realise that wasn't okay, and that wasn't the case. But that's definitely been my biggest struggle, but also the biggest progress, is how I feel about myself and my confidence in my own skin and around other people and stuff, because it just was not there. And that's been hard. But again, I think the accountability, the encouragement, and you just need to keep, you need to really push yourself out your comfort zone. And like even the clothes, like that's, and I remember my shoulders were the thing that I hated.
Aye.
I hated my broad shoulders, and now I love them because I worked hard on them. And I used to look at girls in the gym, and I mean all shapes and sizes, and they'd have like the wee gym fits on, and I was like, oh, I would love to have that confidence. And that is me now. It's rare that I don't dress like that and I don't have the perfect body, but it's a million times better than it was, and I'm much more confident, and I push myself even when I don't feel like wearing that, because I want to be somebody that somebody else looks at and thinks, I wish I could do that, because I was that person.
I was like, so see when we went and done the functional session at Stirling, even Humza was like, who's that lassie over there? I says, that's Claire. She said, she's a unit, isn't she?
I love that. I love getting called
I was like,
that.
she is. She's done obviously amazing. So it's obviously great to hear. I mean, coming for us as well, do you know what I mean? Like, and I think obviously Nova and the team that we're starting to build, it's quite I would say a safe space. I mean, you've told me things that I don't know, that you're probably surprised that you've told me yourself. Yeah. And that obviously stays with me. I mean, I don't even mention this to Holly, because obviously that's just the kind of relationship that we've got as a client and coach. So I'm grateful for that, because it helps me in a sense to coach. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's another thing, like with anybody else that is in a coaching program, like, you need to be the way that you are. Do you know what I mean? You need to be open. Like, I know it's hard for people in certain aspects of different things in life, but what you've said is obviously, it was a very hard thing to go through to now. And
I do find that really hard, because I like to, and a lot of people look at me and think, oh my God, she's got so much on her plate and she just can juggle so much and all that. And that's, I mean, I have terrible days, terrible weeks. I like to, on the outside, look as though I've got everything together, and I don't like being vulnerable. That I find that hard, but also we're human, and I'm trying to get better at that as well, because it's false, isn't it? And that is the whole thing, like that when I'm having a terrible time, and I do tell you, because you need to know that. You need
That's
to know.
when, like, they're the most important parts. Like, of course, as your coaches, like, we want to see you win. We want to see you win, and of course, celebrate with us. But see, at the times when you're struggling, like, that's when we really need to know, because that's when we need to double down on the support and make sure we're there to support you through that.
Yep.
But a lot of people will shy away rather than just being open and honest, because nobody's perfect. Do you know that way? Like, not one person in this world is perfect and can give it 100% all the time. But us knowing that you're struggling and that you need that extra bit of support for us, and like, right, what do you need? What can we do to get you through this? Like, we need to know these things.
Yeah. See that conditioning session, I don't know if I told you that. I cried the full way to that functional session. That was a really bad time. There was all sorts
Because what you said to me
going
was,
on,
I
and
hope he
really-
doesn't give me a cuddle when I come in. You said that to me, and the first thing I did when you came in was to give you a cuddle, didn't I?
Oh, I'm going to cry.
I hope he doesn't give me a cuddle, because I'm going to end up greeting.
Yeah.
Just knew, man, because I knew it was a lot for you to come to that as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is for, like, especially for yourself, with the whole year has just been dramatically changed, right? Still humming and hawing, like, I have got a wee bit of anxiety and stuff like that. Now you've went for not wanting to step foot in the gym, crying outside it, to then finding your way about lifting weights and stuff, to then running up and down the fucking gym, doing high rock sessions,
Yep.
to then now looking at booking your first fitness event next year. It's wild.
I know. That is amazing. That's amazing. And like that, the type of training when you're doing conditioning at the gym is people look at you when you're doing that.
Oh yeah,
Draw
you can't
attention to
miss,
yourself.
like, not in JD Cumbernauld, like, the track is right in the middle of the gym as you walk in. There's no way to hide yourself somewhere. Like, you're literally in the middle of the gym running up and down.
And at the start, I used to be like, they're looking at me thinking I'm not doing this right. Like, I would watch all these videos of folk doing the ski and all that, and I'm like, why are people lifting their heels up and all that? And it's just like your different height. You just want to get the biggest distance in the fastest amount of time. Everybody's different. So there's no kind of set signs. And I thought folk are looking at me because they think I'm not doing it right. And actually now you get folk and they're like you'll see them doing, and they give you a nod and all that, because they're thinking, you are working so hard. I couldn't do that. Well done.
And that's the next thing as well. Obviously, we PT for a bodybuilding gym, which you never thought you would see yourself step foot into.
And I did train there before, did a day pass, and I was like, this isn't for me.
I remember that,
you've
because you,
got
you
membership.
messaged me and you were just like, yeah, great kit, but it's just not the vibe for me.
But that wasn't fair, because I didn't give it a chance. I suppose it was just on one day, and it was just, do you know what it was? It was annoying me. It was like the plates, how it was all matching and just grimier. I think that's what put me off. And then obviously watching the social media, because they're promoting to a lot of bodybuilders, and I thought, oh no, I can't go in there because I do not look like that. But actually, it's like, it's a total community. It reminds me of a gym I used to train in years ago, and it's like a family vibe. And I told you about that guy who totally buff, who actually was watching me doing my lunges, and then at the end he was like, wow, I was actually nearly crying watching you doing that. Like, I can feel the pain in your legs, well done. And he is like a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And I thought, you can't judge all of that and think that you don't fit in, because we're all people and you've all got different goals, but the same goals as well, if you know what I mean. And I feel as though everybody there is there to work.
To train 100%. Like, they're not there just to stand about and look pretty and play on
Four
their
of them
phones.
like
Over
sitting
one
on
machine.
TikTok.
It's like everybody is there
Yeah.
to train. Like, that's their goal at the end of it.
Yep.
Right, so let's talk a wee bit about, like you've said, you've got a really busy life, right? And time is something that a lot of people struggle with, right? So we're talking like mum of four, full-time job, horses, dogs, like you name it. How do you find balancing like all of your kind of home life, work life, along with your kind of fitness?
I think now that it's a way of life, it's easier because it's not an option, if you know what I mean. But at the start, I had a lot of guilt around going with the kids, especially the youngest one. She was like, why are you going to the gym again? I miss you. Because my eldest is 18, so if she's there, then I can go kind of thing. So I don't have like a set routine of I go at this time on this day and all that. I just make sure I get all my workouts in, and it just depends how the day looks, because that's just my life. And I did feel guilty at the start, and I would be like, oh, I'll be back in 10 minutes or whatever. But then I actually sat them down and had a discussion with them, and I was like, look, the gym makes me feel so much better. It makes me less stressed. It makes me feel better in myself, all this. And now, like even last night, Imogen was like, oh, Mum, look at your muscles. She's like, do you not think it's amazing? She went, I saw that picture on your TikTok when we were in Greece, the one of me sitting down on the pirate ship. She was like, no offence, but I can't remember you looking like that, and I didn't think you looked like that at the time, and now look at you. So they're watching it all. They eat the same things as me. I don't make them eat it, but they like eating it. Do you know what I mean? And it's such a good role model for them now, whereas I thought that what I was doing, and I'm not saying it wasn't the best because I'm a really good mum, I know that, and everything was going into my children, but I was completely neglecting myself. And actually that makes you more irritable, and obviously it was causing me health problems. So I just fit it in where I can fit it in, and it's non-negotiable now. I can't not go.
Aye, because when it becomes a non-negotiable, there will be time that you'll find.
Mm-hmm. You will find it.
And that's one of the things that we hear all the time. I don't have time. Yeah. I'm like, and now I use like yourself as an example. Yeah. I'm like, so there was I obviously had another client and it was like the same thing. I don't have time. I was like, listen, you've got time. I says, but it's not a priority. Yeah. That's the difference. Yeah. Says, once you start making this a priority, you're going to see what you want to see.
Definitely.
And that's it. Do you know what I mean? And I suppose that's another great thing because I've obviously met 2 of your girls in it, and cracking. Actually cracking. To be fair, it's just the way that they're you. Yeah. Does that make sense? They're just a younger version, smaller version of you, because you're dead open and you're dead output, and that's exactly the way your girls are. Some of the things that were coming away was howling. But, I love that.
They're dead outdoorsy. They embrace everything. They just and that's what I want. I always say I like to teach my children to do dangerous things as safely as possible, things like that, and just like that outdoor real adrenaline rush. Who cares if it's raining, it's snowing, like we go paddleboarding and it's pouring a rain, and it's totally liberating.
But that's it. That's the way that I grew up. It's the way that you grew up. Do you know what I mean? Like going out and actual doing things, and not just sitting in the house on your phone or on a computer or whatever. But it's like seeing you change. Yeah. Is obviously having an effect on them.
And it's like setting a good example for them as well. Do you know that way? Like they're looking up to you and thinking like, wow, like look at what my mum's doing. Do you know that way? And setting that good example for like eating nutritious foods and exercising and taking that time for yourself to look after yourself, because you know yourself, like you've probably lost Claire somewhere and just been total mum mode for a long time, which for me, like a lot of my clients are mums as well, and a lot of them, that is the way it goes. Like you lose a bit of yourself and it's just try to find Claire again and just stop with the mum guilt a wee bit and just know that actually what you're doing, yes, it's for you, but it's also for your family. You're
actually like the long term thing. You're prolonging your life because you're healthier, but it's the stress factors for me, because my life is a very stressful life. And I remember one of the consultants in hospital, and he was like, "What is your life like?" And I said, "Well, on paper." And then was saying all these things, and he went, "No, that is your life. You need to stop disassociating. That is your life, and your life is stressful." So I do have a very stressful life. I obviously run on a very high level of stress on a daily basis, which is not ideal, but that is my life. But this has massively de-stressed me. That's my headspace now, and like I can admit this because I'm now that person. But like when you would watch people and they're like, "Oh, it's totally changed my life," and I'm like, oh, "Right, okay, you look a bit better." It's changed your life.
Talk shite.
It has changed. It has changed every aspect of my life for the positive. I am now that person. Aye. And it's amazing.
I do agree with you, because I'm exactly the same. Like when I had first got into the gym, obviously it was a wee bit through injury, and it was like when I was going and then you were leaving, and I'm like, "What's this feeling?" And it was that kind of endorphin rush, like the mental side of it, not just the physical. And it was like, whoa, what's happening here? Like how amazing you feel after it. And that's exactly what you're saying there about the kind of changing in your life. Like it's not just the physical. Like of course your body has changed physically a lot. You're a lot stronger, you're a lot fitter, but it's the mental aspect of it as well that's changed for you.
The physical side's a bonus. Obviously the confidence, a lot of it comes from that. But I feel as though the mental side is the best bit. That's the biggest bit.
And it's that old thing, that old saying that obviously pushing yourself outside your comfort zone is what's going to make you grow. It's probably why we've grown as coaches so quickly as well, because we're sitting here doing this, which is scared the life out of me. When I thought about it, do you know what I mean? Like it did, I'm not going to lie. Yep. But at the end of the day, there's things that you need to do to obviously grow as a person as well. And you've just jumped ahead massively within the past few months to obviously now this fitness woman. Do you know what I mean? Who loves it?
And I think just the fact that, because I don't give myself credit sometimes, again, I was thinking a lot because I don't have time to think sometimes, and I was in the car on my own for 20 minutes, so my head's thinking about things, and I was like, I actually don't give myself credit for how much I've embraced it and just flung myself
head first
right into it and really, really try at everything that I'm given, because I was fueled with so much self-doubt, and I do still have that sometimes, but I really do give it my all, and actually I'm very determined. And I'm enjoying it, and I'm loving getting stronger, and I love the challenges.
See, the thing that I love as well, it's like you threw yourself into it, right? Didn't know who I was, never met me before, didn't know what coach, what the fuck is that? Do you know what I mean? Like, what am I getting here? But you trusted me. I don't know if it was after a few conversations, that's when it was like, no, do you know what? This guy, I'm just going to listen, and we're going to do it, and then look what's happened. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of people can't get by that. It's like they either think themselves they know better, or they don't trust the process that they're going through. Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's why I said to you at the very beginning when we done the first cut, it was hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, let's reverse back out, let's eat this food. And I remember when it was like hit 3,000 calories, the message you sent me was like, I can't believe, what do you mean I'm going to be eating 3,000 calories?
Then I went up again, I was eating them all. The only thing I struggled with was the porridge. I was like, whoa, that's too much.
That is heavy. But I'm like, listen, just please trust me the next couple of weeks. And look, I mean, your weight didn't even change much.
No, for months it was the same. That was about 3 months, it was sitting the same. I know it's wild, isn't it? I think how approachable you are, because you've obviously got that bodybuilding look, and as Imogen told you, she was like, when's Hulk coming? And obviously I didn't like personally choose you. I just went with what Scott was doing, because that's who he signed up under. And I think if I'm an overthinker, so probably I wouldn't even have been able to pick somebody, because I'd have been like, oh no, not because of this, not because of this, and to everybody, do you know what I mean? But I think of how kind of open you are, how normal you are, and the fact that you're vulnerable, and you talk about things that you've struggled with, about issues that you've had in your life, and I'm like, do you know what, actually I can relate to you. I think that's what it is, even though our lives are totally different, a lot of the experiences are similar, and when you can relate to somebody like that, and that's why I'm trying to work on the vulnerable thing as well, because when you hide that away from people, you actually are shutting a lot of people out who maybe would tell you more, or you could have more a connection with. I think that's what it is. Like, you're normal, and life's rough, and you're here for your reasons. It's not because you found it dead easy and you want to look buff. It's not that.
But I've always wanted to look buff, but
which is a bonus.
Can't take that away. But no, it's like, that's the same, and it's good to hear, obviously, because I've always been interested in kind of PT and coaching and stuff like that. Obviously never ever went into that route, because I obviously was in another job, but then to hear, like, that's how I'm like, I don't mind opening up and telling people certain things, because at the end of the day, I've grown into that to do that, right? That's no, if I was in my early 20s, I wouldn't have told anybody anything, in a sense, especially on social media and stuff, and but now it's like, no, do you know what, that what's happened then has made me who I am today.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And it's took me a while to just accept that fact, because I used to always care about what people thought, like, and I still believe to this day that most people do, right, to certain things. But I'm like, do you know what? That is who it is. That's me anyway. And if people don't like me for that reason, then that's it. Do you know what I mean? And I
think these things have already happened, though. So I don't understand how people can then change their perception, because that's what's caused you to get to where you are. Like all of us, that's been your growth. So that's already happened. They just didn't have that piece of information. Does it change how you are now, because you've grown from it, you've owned it, you've changed things into a positive, and it's not easy to do that, and not everybody can do it.
It's not, because you've still got that opinion of, well, what is that people now going to, what's that person now going to think? And that's always going to cross your mind, but at the same time it's like, no, well, people need to know me for me and who I am. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm no different for anybody else. Like, and of course, like, same with Holly, like, we've all went through things in life, but I also think that's when you accept that happening, like, obviously you have now, you're on this journey with fitness as well, which
then
is
other people identify with that, because they're like that.
They can relate to it. You can
I can do that.
So talk us through, right, when you first came into the team. We've obviously got you into the gym. We know when you first came in, you weren't going to the gym by yourself, and you went into your first cut. And what I want to talk about is like where the mindset shift was, and where the kind of self-belief came, because like your training, like there's been quite a few different aspects of training that you've went through. So we've went through the primary kind of hypertrophy, just training in the gym, to then, as we said, like running up and down that track and believing now I'm going to take high rocks on. Right, so where is the mindset shift and the self-belief coming in this journey?
I don't actually know. It's obviously just been a a gradual process, and I can't even think of when it actually shifted at all. I don't know, but it's, you get people that want a quick fix, and when you sent me the pictures yesterday, that's 9 months progress. That's a quick fix. But it's so many things. It's not just a fad diet, it's a total lifestyle change. But 9 months to completely transform your life, your body, your mindset, that's quick. But I don't know. And the conditioning thing, that's not something that I didn't really know anything about it. I would seen other people doing it. But I think it came about when it was like, because I didn't have a goal.
Aye.
I don't know why I don't set goals. I don't know if it's because I've got an extreme fear of, God, feel emotional failure.
Aye.
And I feel as if I set myself a goal and I don't do it, like, that would be really hard for me to
remember. There's no failure,
accept.
but it's all
No,
just
I know, and I'm learning this now. But because the only person that you are competing with is you, like that's
Absolutely.
where I'm at now. But I think when I showed you the body type that I was looking for, like that's what I want to look like. And you were like, well, let's try a bit of conditioning then, because that's really going to change your physique. And again, you're like, is that going to change my shape? Wow. Like, I am actually...
What's this guy talking about?
I am actually... And I can't believe like, looking at what I was like before, I would never have thought my body was going to change the way that it's changed. And it just is morphing into that really strong, fit...
Strong, powerful woman, that's what it is.
Yeah. Like, I don't want that.
Amazing.
And not that there's anything wrong with it. I don't want that skinny, lean look. That's not me. I want to look strong and powerful, and that's absolutely what's happening. And I think probably that's where it really started to speed up for me, was when I got right into the conditioning, which is so hard. I don't know if you ever love it when you're doing it, but you love it after it, the feeling. And you did tell me that.
I can agree.
The amount of times I've nearly been sick.
One of the sayings that I always say about it, right, is like, it never gets any easier. It's always hard, but you just get fitter.
Yeah. And you think you're like, oh my God, that's a rubbish time. And then you look at it and you're like, oh, I've just shaved off 2 minutes. So you must have been pushing yourself harder, and that's why it felt harder, because you're getting fitter. But I think once I started to see my body changing even more and quicker into what I'm looking to achieve, which I didn't think was achievable, I think that's when things really made a big shift for me. And
it's like, I can do this.
and I think you stop thinking about all the, I wish I could do this, or I want to eat this, or it just changes, because then your goals are totally different. It's not to say, and I say this to the kids, because the odd time they'll be like, oh, you can't have that. And I'm like, well, no, I can have it. I can eat that if I want to eat it. I'm choosing not to eat it. That's different.
Right.
So that's the difference, right, when it comes to like restriction and when it's actually like an empowered choice. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, everyone has the choice, like, of what they want to do in life and what they want to eat and what they want to put in their body. But there comes this shift where it's like, no, it's no restriction. Like, I am making the choice not to have that, because you know the way it makes you feel.
Yeah. And it takes a lot, actually, to kind of almost stand up to people, because people don't question you when you're out and you're having a drink. Do you want a drink? Or you smoke? Why do you smoke? Why do you drink? Nobody questions that. But if you're not drinking,
you're the weirdo.
Do you think it's mad, right? Because see, when you look at it, it's like, obviously fitness is now it's grown and grown and grown, right? And it has over time. But that's the said. Obviously, coming from a younger age, that's all I ever did every weekend, was go and get mad with it. As I would imagine
most people do.
Most people did.
We live in Scotland.
But then it's like your fitness, it's like, oh, you coming out? Like, no, I'm doing this at the weekend. It's like, what do you mean you're doing that at the weekend and you're not coming out? It's like, because I feel better when I do that. Yeah. I don't want to hang over for fucking 4 days. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's a lot of people out there who look for the outside to the fitness side of things, like yourself and what you're doing, what we're doing. And it's like, I'd love to do that. Mm-hmm. But they don't want to say no to their pals. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And by the way, what have I said to you before? Like, I'm never really out with my pals anymore. Like, they don't even ask me to go out, which is quite annoying, because if it was something to go out for food, I could eat. Obviously, I'm on prep now, right? But take the prep away, right? Yep. If I wasn't on prep, I'd go out for dinner. Yeah. Why does it need to be a drink? I know. Do you know what I mean?
And why can you not go on a night out? I'm going out on Friday next week. It's one of my best friend's birthdays, and going out and I'm not drinking, but they didn't question it, because they're now used to it.
Yes,
do you know what I mean?
We got that as well at first, when it first started.
The other two, there's only 3 of us going out, and they were like, I'm not going to drink either.
It's mad, isn't it? Because you've got one person saying, I'm not drinking this. Oh, thank God you're not drinking, because I didn't want to drink.
But it's just that whole thing the next day, like the missing a day. And I don't know the last time, I think it was actually my birthday in February was the last time that had a lot to drink. It was like 6 drinks. I had to stop drinking at 8:45 at night because I was like, woo.
I think sometimes, but like, see when you've started see when you're actually like enjoying your life, you're enjoying what you do. As you said, like fitness has just became part of your lifestyle. Like it's not a case of am I going to train today or am I not? Like it's just one of these things. It's just a normal routine, just like getting up and brushing your teeth now. It's just became your routine. And I think like once you're doing that and you're working towards these goals and you're really happy within yourself, you don't really need alcohol. No. Do you know that way? Like some people will have alcohol at the weekends to kind of drown their sorrows and take them away from the week they've just had, like they hate their job de-stress. Or all these sort of things. But when you've got something else there, like you don't need it. And that's not to say you're never going to drink again, of course. Like, but you make the choice when you want to do it and when you don't.
Yep. And I think it's weird because like even in holiday, when I was on holiday, and it took me 3 days probably of the all inclusive to start to kind of
relax.
Because I did feel a bit guilty, and I was like, like this, and there was no gym, and I was wanting to do burpees in the hotel room and all that.
But the thing is, you need to look at it as like you work your arse off all year round, right? Going on holiday for a week or two like ain't going to make any difference to your progress because you are working hard constantly all year round. So as soon as you come home, you just get straight back into your routine. Yep. And I think I had 2 drinks that holiday and didn't even finish them because I was like, right, I'm going to have a drink, and I was like, I don't even like this. Like I don't even know. It's just different now. I don't even know how to explain it. But there is times, like, don't get me wrong, like I was at a barbecue in the summertime and had, I think over the course of the day, a bottle of Prosecco, and it was nice and enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? But it's just different now. I think we're the same. We used to always go on holiday and just get mad with it, and then it was like, now we're doing this and we're doing this, and we still try and make it, like, if we go on holiday, like, have one night where we'll go out and have a few drinks and stuff, just to have that kind of, because we're on holiday, have that kind of breakaway. But I mean, that last one in Benidorm, I mean, we're out for 3 years and we're back in the house mad at it. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, and I didn't even think, I didn't even, the next day, I could not move from the sun lounger all day. I haven't had to, like, I can't really be annoyed. See if you don't want to have a drink, we'll not have a drink. And she's like, oh, but we've planned it. And I was like, oh, all right. I wouldn't have. I would have been that whole holiday without doing it. Do you know what I mean? But I suppose that's just life for us now, no, but innit? Like, but it's not even just the drinking. It's then you crave all the sugar and all of that the next day and everything, and as well. No meal prep. It's just a kind of cycle. Like if you've no planned your meals and got them sitting in the fridge ready to go for the next day, game over. Can I just say though, the meal prep, because there's probably a lot of people who are like, I don't have time to meal prep. If you were a fly in the wall in my kitchen, it would make you ill at how unprepped my meal prep is. Like, honestly, it's wild. And I remember even at the start, I think it was Madeline and me and Scott were in the kitchen, and we very, very rarely argue. We don't, right? And like that, when I remember trying, it was like 9 o'clock at night or something. She went, are you paying somebody for you to do this? Because we were arguing over chicken or whatever it was. And I would do too, just started laughing. But I would like to say that's got better, but I mean, there's always cooked chicken in the fridge, and all the other bits are there, but I am not somebody who has all my meals sitting for the week, because it's just not how. Well, that's what I mean. Holly are obviously different. Out. Like, I'll just have my stuff cooked in a big tub. So a big tub of chicken, a big tub of veg, and I'll just weigh my stuff out, obviously at the house. But obviously, if I was at work, it would get prepped the night before. She has hers all prepped for what, 3 days or something like that? 3-4 days at a time or not? Well, all my dinners are prepped for the full week. Some go in the fridge, some go in the freezer. Obviously, when it's things like your oats and stuff like that, your overnight oats, like I only like to prep like 2 days at a time, because I'm not leaving them in the fridge for multiple days. You know that way. But I need to, like, I genuinely would end up off, like, not even off plan. I don't even know what I would grab. Like, I do not have the time to like cook fresh. Like, I need it all ready and ready to go. Especially with training, obviously, as it is right now. It's constant right now. The volume's crazy. You're eating a lot. Aye. No, it's funny. I would love to be like that, but I'm just not. And I've tried. Some people don't, but like some people don't like to, because as well as that, like some people are a bit funny with like reheated chicken and stuff like that. But it's just trying to make it easier. Like that's what I see a lot of people with, like rice, for instance, right? Obviously, a lot of people, you know, the whole kind of don't microwave for your rice and all that. See, as long as you've got a couple of packets of microwave rice in the cupboard, you're sound. Yeah, it takes minutes. I know. I do reheat rice. I saw the actually see that paying however much it is for a packet, and you get a big bag for the same price. That's exactly it. And then like that, I'll have the rice already cooked, the chicken already cooked. And you're just shoving it 99% of the time I have my lunch done the night before for the next day. But a lot of the time, like we are, and I know you're on your bed day early, and we're like, oh, I wish I was that person. Like I do, but my day, literally, I can be up at 5:30 in the morning, and then I do not go to bed till 11 o'clock at night. And I'm up at 4.
every morning, basically. So I need to go to bed about 9 o'clock. See, if I stay up and watch football or something that gets to like 10, I feel it.
Mm-hmm.
The next day I feel it, don't I?
Yep.
Like, I really feel it. So I used to be that pure night owl and all. I used to stay up pure late, but I can't anymore, man.
It's just because I've got too much to do. It's not through choice. I would love to go to bed at 9 o'clock at night, but it's just not.
I suppose that's the thing. Obviously, we've not got any kids around like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's
Two dogs are already in bed, like when we got.
My dogs go to bed at 9 o'clock. That's what they do. They go into their bed.
Come on.
I am nervous about the winter routine with the horses though, because I've not done that since training 5 days a week. So when I started, I was only doing 3 days. They go out when the clocks change, and then they come in for the winter when the clocks change. So that's one. So that's you need to be up there twice a day. So that's going to be a
especially when it comes to your next prep that's coming up, because there is going to be a lot of training.
I will. Well, saying that, like, I will for January onwards, really, in it. If we get into the high rocks, and it'll be.
We will.
Well, we will,
Yeah.
but because you need to apply for it now, and it's not just an enter thing. Oh, saying that, you've got your thing, you know, you're affiliated, aren't you, with the gym?
Limitless is an
So,
affiliated
so you should
gym.
get a ticket. Just means that you get first choice of ticket.
So I think basically what happens when you're like an affiliate, when you're an affiliated gym, like you'll get. So I think it's a wee bit like kind of like, you know how like pre-sale, like O2 priority and stuff. They'll have priority to go in and get your tickets. So I think you'll get access before the ballot. So there's then like twice the chance. Okay. Plus there's loads of people resell them and stuff. Like injuries happen, people pull out for multiple reasons. So we will all be at High Rocks Glasgow. I am manifesting it right now.
I'm nervous and I'm worrying about ridiculous things like what if I need a pee, when are you allowed to drink water, running, don't do running. But then I tell myself these things and I say I can't do that.
And then you go and do it.
But now it's not that you can't do it. I've just tried it before and didn't like it or whatever.
Like,
but
you
if
eat
you
your
make
own words.
yourself do it,
I feel like
you then start to get, but then sometimes actually I do it to the extreme and then I'm like, I can't walk because I've really cupped my knees.
Obviously, we're running.
I went out and ran.
I don't find well
7K.
if you're obviously doing high rocks. Obviously, because Holly made me. But no, so it's like that was obviously a choice for me as well to do it because you actually caught me at a good time, didn't you? But the running for me, you obviously need to build up the running. Which anybody, I wouldn't have known that if I'd ever had a coach. Do you know what I mean? Because I would have just been that person with a big full belt and just went for a pure big run and ended up.
The lucky thing is you have a coach to coach you through it.
I know.
Exactly.
You're a runner, so that's ideal. For mine, it was a psychological thing as well with the asthma. It's the only time I've ever had asthma attacks is when I was running, and I used to compete in cross country when I was younger. With the running, so I've done running, but that was the only time I'd ever had asthma attacks and that tightness that you get in your chest. But I've learned to realise everybody gets that at the start, and then it goes away.
Absolutely.
And it's the same with your legs and your knees, and after you've done about 2K, having just
it's just building up. Like, this is the thing, if you're going from 0 to 100, like, of course your knees are going to be sore, of course your legs are going to be sore. Like, you need to actually build it up gradually in order for you to recover from it.
It was the same with squatting. I remember my knees used to kill me with squatting, but I've dislocated that right knee before, so I've got an old injury there, so it's taken, and it was Austin at physio had said to me, you need to build up your quads to support your knees.
That's exactly what I had.
Definitely built up my quads.
That was exactly the same reason how I even got into the gym in the first place, because my knee kept dislocating, and that was exactly what I had to do. Like, I had no muscle on my quads, had to build it up. Lo and behold, 3 years later, here I am.
It shows you then what you can fix, doesn't it? And then the same with that neck shoulder injury that I had, and I was always walking like so hunched over, so I had no, what is it at the back? Your
trap.
No, for good traps. Gets it, no, I was going to say your rhomboid.
Oh, your
What's it called? Begins with an R, does it?
That's went out my head now, because it's rotary cuff. No,
it's not even that. Whatever it is, right? The bit at your back of your shoulders. I didn't have that, and I actually said to me I had a weak back. That's the weakest bit of me. Definitely still is my back. But every month when I go back in, it'll be like every time your posture improves, because obviously you're building up all those muscles round about it, and that very rarely now do I even get a niggle. Still get monthly physio to kind of keep it at bay, but again that's exercise and training that has fixed that. So it's fixed my knee, fixed my head, fixed my shoulder, my neck.
It does that because you can work on your areas that are like weaknesses and areas that you need to build up.
Yeah, because I think people think, I've got an injury, I can't do that, but actually you might have that because something else.
You're not doing it in the first place.
You're not doing it.
You need to build up round about it.
Obviously with fitness and moving and lifting weights and stuff like that, you're moving. So for the most people that don't do anything like that and they just do like a sedentary job, or they're just sitting at a desk all day and stuff, they're going to get tight. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If you're not training, like regardless it being weightlifting or doing functional or whatever, like you're still like you're still opening the body, you're still, well, I'm going to say stretching, right, but it's no, it's, you get what I'm saying, it's no like stretching, but you're moving the body, so its hands aren't going to get as tight, do you know what I mean?
Especially for women over the age of 30 as well. So important for us
And
to
you
be
lose, what is it, 1% of your
1%
muscle?
of your muscle mass each year. So like for us, and especially because we end up with a higher risk of osteoporosis and stuff, like for us to actually be training and try to preserve that muscle for as long as we possibly can into our future years.
Yeah. And it's mad, isn't it? Because if you think how you're losing it and it's more difficult to build it and we're building it, that's amazing, isn't it?
Aye.
But that's what I'm saying, is there's a lot of women out there who think that they can't build muscle and stuff like that, or
Because I've never tried.
it's because they've never tried.
Stuck in diet
And
culture.
you think
they've
when you
tried
hit
for 2
30, your
weeks.
metabolism slows down, your hormones start to change. You've
Actually
had
slow down
kids.
that much. Like
You think your body, well, I thought my body was like...
Done.
I thought your body was gone.
I've had four children, but still interested to see what happens to the stomach. Because obviously I've had 3 sections as well, so I've got scar tissue and all that there, but it's improved way more than I ever thought it ever would, so we'll see. Just keep going.
Just keep going.
You can only ever get better.
and
Like
keep
that's
saying,
it. Like if you just keep going, like
The interesting
one,
one, the good one's going to be High Rocks. It's going to be because I think that you're obviously a wee bit nervous about it and that you've been doing training and stuff, the functional side of it. And then it's like, see when you actually do it, you'll be nervous, of course you will. I was shite myself when I went. But see when you've done it, I think you're going to get the buzz a day. Because if I could get the buzz and it killed me, and you're going to get it and then you're going to go, I can beat that time. That's exactly the thing I thought about.
And it is that whole thing, you're only against yourself, aren't you? Because you're not like, but then I suppose all these pro athletes that do it as well, they've all started at the bottom and like that, got the bug and kept getting better. But you're literally only competing against yourself. You just want to finish it.
The thing is, see when you go on, see when you go into your first one, this is the thing, you can't put too much pressure on yourself to get a specific time, right? Because you're going into an arena, you've never done the race before, you have absolutely no idea what to expect, especially when you're doing like you're in, you're out, your rock zone, going through these stations and stuff. Like, just go into it and actually get the feel for it and finish it, as you said. Once you've finished it, that's you set the groundwork, that's you laying the foundation. Now go and improve. Now you know what to expect, you know what you're going into, you know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are, but don't put that extra pressure on yourself, like on your first one, to be like, right, I'm going to get this time. Like, just go in and finish. Honestly, and even finishing it is an incredible achievement.
Definitely.
So onto the team, right? Onto Team Nova, right? So coming in, right? Were you expecting what you're basically getting in terms of, obviously most coaches, it'll be one coach, or it'll be, obviously there's me and Tolly, and the support there for both of us. Obviously I'm going to be your kind of main coach unless wait until it becomes the High Rocks, and then she'll start programming the workouts and stuff for that. I'll still be taking control of the nutrition side of things. I'll still be your main coach. But will you expect? I know you've not came for any other coach or anything like that, right? But give us a wee insight of what you thought when you first came in, like, and how it was.
You've touched on the fact that it was just like you thought you were just getting a training program, away you go. Which of course you've got a training program. We give you a training program that's individual to you, but there's so much more than that.
Everything else, obviously, with the community and what we do for the meetups, and obviously now we're started that call and stuff like. And obviously we've got stuff in the background that we want to add, but we're not going to chuck any of that in the new, any of that good stuff. So with
no inside secrets. So I'll be totally honest because I've got no filter. But the group chat and all that, I start getting added into that. I was like, oh, this is my worst nightmare. I don't want to do this. Like, I don't know anybody in here. What am I going to talk about? And I've got enough friends, and do you know what I mean? Like, I had quite a negative view of that probably. And that's, of course, totally changed like everything else. It's where you get some laugh in there and you spur each other on. And again, I feel as though, and you know, there's a couple of people I work with and stuff like that in it now, but it's like a safe space as well. Like, it's just different. I think, like, coaching wise, and obviously the app and everything like that, like, that's blown me away because you've got your programming in the resistance training, and I did not know my way about a gym. I would just do the same things or do what Scott was doing and change the weights. And all the videos are on there of what to do, or like that with the hammer curls, and I was like, I keep patting my boobs like well, you're not doing it right. So then I was like, right, okay, and I wasn't doing it right. So it's that you've always got somebody there to answer a question. The nutrition, obviously you can do your own, like, plan it all out and do all your own macros and all that, but that doesn't fit in well to my life. So the fact that it is dead, all planned out for me, this is what you're having this day, this meal. The accountability is absolutely everything in it, because I don't even think it's the money. I think it's just the whole, like, you're checking in with somebody, somebody's keeping tabs on you, like, it's not even that you don't want to let them down, but you want to keep seeing the achievements and the progress. Accountability, I think, is massive on that, and probably not everything's like that. And even just like the feedback that you get and how excited you get every week, like, I love that. I love it, and it spurs you on, because especially if you've had a week where, like that, I was greeting about being starving and all that last week on this cut. And he's like, oh my God, look at the progress. And then you sent that picture and I was like, wow, it's just so much support. And like, I probably, if I was given a choice, I probably would still have picked a male coach, because the sports that I've done, like I did Muay Thai and stuff for years, have always been quite male orientated. So I just don't know, that would just have been my preference. But obviously I think the fact that there's the two of you there, even just the understanding the female side of it, the confidence and the challenges and the hormones and learning all about your cycle, which I am a midwife and I did not know about all the like how it changes how you physically feel, your strength, all of that. So it's definitely good. And obviously both having totally different fitness backgrounds, because I'm doing totally different things, like a mixture of both, and the fact that you're then going to come in for the high rocks stuff, which is your thing, because you do that already. Like, you're getting two for the price of one, really, aren't you?
And we're two totally different coaches as well. Like, that's the thing, we both take it from like two different angles as well, like, do you know, that way. So I suppose, as you said, you get the best of both worlds, and you get the kind of view of the both of us, but we still, the aim is still the same, like, do you know, that way, like, the goals are still the same, like, we still want to get you to that end kind of result. But it's just that there's different ways. Like, as they say, there's many ways to skin a cat. I don't know where that saying came from, right? But
I'd probably say I'm more the harsher coach when it comes to things. I've not had to be that harsh with you yet, right? But
because I behave well.
I think that's the bodybuilding background. Like, I genuinely think
because
that's the
obviously
background.
I just look at it and I go, like, how can you not do this? Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? And I always go, you're an adult. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've had it a couple of times and I've just had to go, basically, you're talking shite. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've done this long enough now. I say long enough, it's really only been a year or something I've been coaching for. But, like, you obviously learn, and obviously because you're working with a lot more adults and stuff, but I find myself being a lot more harsher now, and 9 out of 10 times when I be that harsher, I get a reply saying, no, you're right.
No.
But it's sometimes because you want to see people succeed. You don't want them to be wasting their time, because it's no, you're getting paid at the end of the day. What, like, do you know what I mean? A lot of people would be like, well, I think that's how it's too, because maybe the past 6 to 7 months to actually realise who we are as coaches. Yeah. And that's why we've now went down the route. Obviously, Holly loves the performance side of things. Mm-hmm. I love the aesthetic side of things. Yep. I love to see a body transform, and that comes from me being younger. Mm-hmm. Always want to have abs, do you know what I mean? Be that kind of guy. But then knowing that my body type, I can't hold abs. Mm-hmm. Like, it's physically impossible for me to do that. But I love to see somebody change. Mm-hmm. I love that, do you know what I mean? And I think you pointing out the changes, like, there's a hammy drop there, there's the quad coming in. Like, I like hearing all of that, because sometimes you look at a picture and you're like, oh, my belly still looks fat. Like, that's
everyone always goes to the stomach part, don't they? Every time.
And then you'll be like, oh my God, look at the change. Because I'm like, he's not going to notice a difference in the picture, and he's going to be like, less calories. And then it was the total opposite. I think,
I was like, that comes from, like, we are all our own worst enemy, right? Like, you literally look at yourself every single day in that mirror, right? So you're going to be the last person to notice the difference. So see, even simply like having a coach is like a second pair of eyes, because you know what it's like when you look at yourself compared to when you look at other people. Yeah, do you know that way? So it is just having that second pair of eyes and, like, actually seeing the difference and pointing it out. Do you know what catches me though? And it used to be the complete opposite. Like, I'd see myself in a picture and I'm like, oh my God, it was always my face. I've got quite a round face. Like, me too, the wee hamster cheeks.
Because we smile a lot. But and I'd be like, oh my God, I did not realise I looked that fat. And now I see pictures of myself, and I take pictures a lot more now than I ever used to, and it's the opposite. And I'm like, I can't believe that's me. I can't believe I look like that. I'm starting to video wee bits in the gym. Are you on my TikTok? I put a wee mash-up on the other night.
I seen that.
Doing it, and I think everybody's looking at me thinking I'm an idiot. But I'm going to start doing it, because again, that's what I like to watch on other people.
That's just another level of confidence that you're now unlocking. Like, yes, it's very, very uncomfortable, and I'll be honest, I was the same. Took me a good, 6, 7, 8 months before I ever whipped my phone out in the gym and videoed myself. But it's also going to help you, right? It's going to help you with your training and that, in order to see it, look it back and see how you're performing the exercise. But it's also like unlocking this new level of confidence where it's like, no, like I can get my phone out and train. Like, that's what I want to do, and I enjoy doing. I love watching other people do it.
I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that.
See, the thing is as well, it's like there's absolutely no reason at all why you can't be sharing and videoing your own journey. Do you know what I mean? Because it's massive. It's fucking massive.
And you actually don't know who else you're inspiring through it as well.
Exactly it. That's exactly
It's so weird, because I don't look at myself as an inspiration.
Neither do I. I don't look at myself as a coach. I just look at myself as this guy who's just basically telling people what to do.
Well, you'll find there'll be women out there like that are maybe probably in the kind of where you were before.
Yeah,
like
and
maybe
you get stuck in a rut, don't you? Totally, and your whole life is dedicated to other people, for me, my children, as it should be, but it doesn't mean that you need to completely lose yourself and put yourself at risk in the process of that. That's what's changed for me, and it's
like social media is a hard one. It's a hard
highlight
reel.
reel.
Like it's just
everyone shows the best bits.
I'm not even going to that with other coaches, but
I think that's why, and like I touched on earlier, why you guys are different in that sense, because
we try to show the good, the bad, the ugly, like, because we're not perfect. We are absolutely not. It's unachievable,
because then if people then come to a bump in the road, they think, why can't I do this? Like, obviously on photo shoot prep and then going into bodybuilding prep, like, that's rough. And Scott's doing that now, it's rough, but you've been able to say, and then you told them the bagel story in the car and stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you need to hear these things, because otherwise you think, I'm a failure.
Yeah.
Why am I finding this so hard?
How come everybody else is breezing this?
You just see all the pictures, you're like...
So what changed for me during that was that happened, right? And then I was like, why am I doing this? And then I was actually getting posing lessons at the time, and I said it to the coach that was doing the posing lessons with, and he's like, how are you getting on and stuff? And I was saying, I've kind of had a binge, and he went to what happened, and I told him, he went, I have done that when I list every, and see him telling me that, you will not
that it was normal.
The weight that just got lifted off my shoulders when he told me that. This is a guy who's competed 20 odd times. He's now a pro now.
Sharing vulnerability that then other people identify with.
And I was like, because I thought I was a fucking weirdo. I was like, because I've never heard anybody else doing it, and I've followed a lot of bodybuilders. A few of my pals have competed, and nobody's ever.
When you see it, and like we all follow people that do this, and it's like, oh, they've just embraced every part of this and never moaned, and you know, the calories have dropped again and this and that, and you think, how are you just taking all of that in your stride? Like,
it's like why I share with my running. Like, I have such a love-hate relationship with running. Like, genuinely, like, see people that talk about runner's high, and I'm like, how are you getting that? Because I don't feel that, right? Like, I don't, and I'm genuinely at the stage where running for me is only purely because I do high rocks, so I need to run.
To be a runner.
But see if that's probably the one part of my training where I would give that up, 100%. Like, and it's just shown that side instead of being like, yeah, look at me, come for a fancy run, it's all amazing. It's like, no, it's really hard.
You're doing it because it's part of that training. I had a weird thing though. I think I told you about this when I went out running one day, and I actually started crying.
Yeah, it's happened to me a couple of times, and like,
and I couldn't stop crying. And I was like, I don't know if this is relief or I'm pleased that I can do it, or I've no idea.
Sometimes I think
bizarre.
If you're running like with the thoughts in your head, and depending on where you're currently at, because I know that there was a period that I was going through, and when I was going to run, I was crying as well. Like, do you know that way? And it was my emotional state
in a rough spot. I think that might have been something to do with it.
So we're just going to ask you a wee question here, right? So how has joining Team Nova changed your life, right? And if there was any other woman out there or person who was looking to join, what would you say to them?
100% do it. It's changed every aspect of my life. So obviously the fitness side, the health side, even me setting my boundaries for other people, friends, family, relationships, because I tolerated less than okay, and even people that are close to you for a very long time, and I'm no longer doing that. I'm protecting my own peace and how far I've come, and it is absolutely achievable. And I don't think you realise how much something can change your life, but you've got to put the effort in. Oh, yeah. It's not easy. You've got to really, like you were saying, push yourself out your comfort zone all the time with various different things. And what might seem tiny to somebody else is massive to you. But I honestly cannot recommend it enough. I can't believe how much it's changed my life. Like, I am now one of those people that's saying that. It's just amazing. And I think you guys don't even realise how life-changing it is for people. And obviously that's why you get into the job. It's not just because you want to make people look a bit better. It's the whole picture, and that has lives. Absolutely happened to me.
There's probably no other job. Obviously, I've been in construction kind of all my days, and sometimes I'll wake up, I've had a couple for yourself, I've had a couple for a few other clients. I'll wake up to a message, I'll go to the phone, and I'll see a message like, just for example, like, I can't believe how much this has changed my life. And I'm waking up to that, and I'm going, I don't even know what it is I'm doing, if that makes any sense. Like, I know what I'm doing, but it's like, that's...
You don't realise the impact you have in somebody's life. I've always came from like a customer service background, like my whole entire life since I've been 16, but not one time has it ever given you the satisfaction that you get from this job. Do you know that way? Like, even to call it a job, do you know that way? It doesn't feel like a job, which I suppose it kind of tells you that you're doing the right thing, but absolutely. It hits you right in the feels, like actually changing people's lives, like being a pivotal part of that, like the big moments, like the good, the bad, the ugly, like all of it, and supporting someone through that change. Mm-hmm.
And I think especially because, not that you don't have younger people in your team, but I don't know if you were targeting kind of slightly older, like 30 and up, but that seems to be a lot of the people in that, like that's the bit where you think you're not going to make the change. It's not as easy. You don't have the same metabolism as you were younger and all that. Your life has changed.
Oh my God, we all think life stops at 30. I don't know why we all seem to think that when we were younger, that life was over.
No, for me, I had a bit of an epiphany, if that's the right word, because I'd just joined you guys. I was turning 40. I was like, I didn't even do a speech at my party. I wasn't going to have a party because I don't like the fuss, and then I didn't want to talk like, on the mic and all that. I was like, I'm not doing it because I'll cry, and I've just survived a lot of stuff that it was hard, and I thought, this is it. I'm now going to take this, and this is now me going to change and live my life for me as well now, and that's definitely what I've done. And I think as you get older, you think I can't do it, or it's too hard, or
you're past it now, like time's passed.
And there's so many different walks of life in Nova, so many different, backgrounds, jobs. But you, like, and even in the gym I was in one night and had a pure, real heart-to-heart, sitting down on one of these step things, and for about 5 minutes with one of the guys on the team, and the two of us told each other things that I've really not told to a lot of people. I don't know if he's told a lot of people. I've not told anybody else. I doubt he will have, but do you know what I mean? And it's just like, because...
Family.
And it's like, I feel like people that are really into their fitness, like has happened to me, you've had a lot of battles there, and I think that you meet these other people.
Aye, and you're like, I can't believe that's kind of similar situation that I've been in, and then you end up. That's why we're trying to get quite big on community, because it's bringing people together for kind of similar situations that you might not even know that there's other people out there in that situation. And it's like, as I said, I'll call it the safe space. And it's obviously, you mentioned there about, is it like the people that we're trying to kind of target, like for 30s and above? It's actually like it's not that we're not trying to target them. It's like we still try to specifically find, like, we coaches are meant to have a niche, right? And I'm like, I don't particularly have a niche, but it's like, if somebody, we just seem to be attracting people our age and more. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's one of them. So you'll get somebody who's in early 20s, and you'll get the odd one who comes in, hangs the programme, great, they feel amazing, and they think they can go and do it themselves. But when you're somebody in your 30s who's more or less settled in life, and it's now like, now I want to try something different, or, you know what I mean? Like, for example, look at Claire, I can do what she's doing, and it's another mother. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you're an example of somebody else who can then come in and change. So it's like, we're attracting yous. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. And it's like,
your vibe attracts your tribe,
we don't, every now and again I'll maybe put out a post like for 25 to like 50 year olds or whatever like that, but I'm like, I'm no I prefer to work with people over 25 because I feel like they've kind of got their shit together.
Settle down a wee bit.
Do you know
as
what I
well.
mean? It's like, and they can focus a bit more, and they know what it's. They've got a bit more life experience.
I think the life
Do you know what I mean?
experience is a big thing.
Aye, because it's like
You can relate. You're more relatable.
Yep.